Oh, it
Welcome,
is.
folks.
Welcome to the Wrestling Inc.
Welcome,
podcast.
folks.
Is there... Matt Morgan's just trying to distract me from the fact that he's cosplaying as Guile tonight on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. It is April 27th in the year 2020. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri. Hey, dude, there are worse characters than Guile. I mean, although, Matt, I have to imagine in the 28 years Street Fighter 2 has been a thing, did you ever go as Zangief for Halloween?
No.
Missed opportunity. I mean, come on. The most natural thing for you, right?
Who was the dude with the super long arms?
Dalsim.
Really? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, E Honda kind of a little bit too, but Dalsim had the really long arms. Street Fighter 2, more exciting to talk about than tonight's Monday Night Raw, I think. Matt Morgan, what did you think of tonight's show?
I think I need to hit the rewind button and go back to last SmackDown's podcast and really bury Vince McMahon's exit of that show. We went way too late on that in retrospect. I watched it back a few different times and go, why did I let this pass? That was terrible. He couldn't have been any more uncomfortable, and it was awkward. Not in a funny, awkward way, but in an awkward way. Someone let their crazy uncle out to go start talking and just ramble.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
That was concerning. That was almost concerning.
Yes, it really was. And I let it go. And I apologize to our fans for not keeping it real with y'all. All right, now to Raw. I ain't much better. So I got nothing for you in that comment. If you're looking for something positive, you ain't getting it here.
The good news for Vince, though, at least that SmackDown did the lowest rating ever on Fox. So the fewest number of people saw it. But yeah, I watched it back today, and he just... he kept ripping on Triple H's performance. I don't know what he was talking about, like just in general.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
His ripping of it was not good.
No.
It was in his weird voice. The Vince McMahon voice didn't come out toward like the very end.
Yeah.
And then he's babbling about Good Night Padre. Good night, Padre. What?
Yeah.
Oh, Matt, that's what they call him. That's what they call him is, his grandkids and I don't know that. We don't know that. Right. Therefore, don't say it.
Yeah, it's on TV. It should be explaining commentary or something, but it was bad.
Yeah. And tonight it was I don't know. I don't know the best way to qualify this. I feel like running in place, treading water. That 6-man tag in the first hour took up way too much. Then to see two of those guys in a one-on-one match later in the night.
Yes.
And Money in the Bank sounds pretty dope this year. The more they talk about it, the better it sounds. But I'm wondering, if I was doing this podcast, I would just skip all of WWE and just watch Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Me too.
It is hard to watch right now. And for me, I've been watching nonstop since 87, and it's never been this hard. And, granted, I know these are tough circumstances, but man, they need to change this product. They need to change the product if you're going to continue running these shows. And I had tweeted this out. I was like, man, do make it more like a TV show and do a lot more backstage stuff where you see the talent arriving and conversing and wanting to meet with Vince and being told who their opponents are, and just make it realistic and almost like the West Wing backstage, and just have a couple of matches, maybe 3 or 4, and just change it up for now.
Yep.
I don't get it. I mean, you got 3 hours of national airtime. This is what you choose to put on it. And if they're doing this, if they're making the talent show up, I feel bad for the talent. I mean, I'm glad they're still employed. I'm glad they weren't cut. But it's like, man, look at NXT last Wednesday, and even for the critiques we had of that, NXT had a lot of story. Even the Drake Maverick stuff, exploitive and shitty, but at least that was like a story, something to get invested in. Tonight, did anything resonate with you? Did anything make you think can't wait to see how this one turns out?
Sadly, one of the highlights for me was Jinder coming back, even though, I've had my criticisms of him, but just seeing something different, I don't know. It just felt something, I don't know. Just seeing someone back, it felt like the most newsworthy thing of the week.
I agree.
And they're building him up. they're obviously giving him a push. Look how much tonight they mentioned that he was champion.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
like
they had,
Jinder.
yeah, and they had, I mean, before when he was here last, they had stopped mentioning him as a champion. We're just using him as enhancement talent. But so it's clear they're pushing him, and I gotta think they're going to be doing something with Drew. You know, given their history, maybe once Drew and Seth runs its course, they move on.
It'll be good. It will be good because it'll have a backstory to it. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Another shitty reason to have put Heath Slater here. This could have been a nice opening for Heath Slater if they did do the storyline.
Mm-hmm. You know, if they did it more like how they did Randy Orton and Edge, where you really tie in the backstory and don't make it cheesy. Don't
How do you do that? How do you do that with everything 3MB and make it serious?
Simple. Saying I was humiliated having to do that. You were humiliated having to do that. But we did what we had to do to make it by. You say that as the babyface Drew McIntyre. Now, Jinder, you know, completely just has got to heal this up, obviously, and just completely do the obvious, which is bury it. And then you know, and just make something else up. Say that the company is racist and they put them in there just to, you know, something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's made up, Matt. That's completely out of nowhere.
I don't know. Something that has teeth to it, though, that people will get pissed about.
Yeah, I agree.
Or like, you know, Jinder just saying, you know, he brought Drew back and they, you know, cover their friendship because they are legit best, you know, close friends. And they were all in, gosh, what was it? One of them got married and Jinder was, I think Jinder might have been like Drew's best man or was one of his groomsmen. Wow. So just tying that history again, like Orton and Edge, just really, you know, play into that. You could have something.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Jinder Mahal was the highlight of tonight's Monday Night Raw in the year 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to just Jinder. I'm just saying that like.
Right, he was he was running around for the 24/7 title. That's
what I'm saying is that if somebody didn't watch the show tonight and you told them that Jinder Mahal was the best thing of tonight, they would wonder what you were on. But seriously, no, Jinder was the bright spot, the lone bright spot in tonight's show.
Yeah.
I like Jinder, for the record. I think this will be interesting. I actually thought Jinder with the Singh brothers was a good combination. I think Jinder versus Drew will be a very good feud, and they need more heels. So this will be something. I think the unfortunate thing is with Zelina and her stable, they're leaning into this so much. Matt, why don't you think, or do you think this is working with? I mean, Zelina is a superstar, but with these guys, I mean, is this working for you?
It is, and here's why. Because these guys I would not give a rat's ass about. And because of her, she draws my attention to them, at least in the beginning. It's up to them to sink or swim with what they do in the ring and what they do with their character development, obviously. But she does the hardest part, I would argue, there is to do, which is to get my eyes off of body slamming my kid in the bed and strolling around and back onto the TV show again, which she always does because I want to hear what she's going to say.
Yeah. Do you think that they've done a good enough job of establishing an agenda with this? I mean, just this idea that she's got this
is totally the Village People type of stable, just like the Foreign Nation stable. Remember that random one they threw together?
League of Nations.
League of Nations, that was so random. But again, she at least makes those, no offense to them, mid-card at best talents, lower card tiered talents, I would argue, except for what's his name, her main guy,
Andrade.
Andrade, you know, and then what's his name is going to be good too, but right now he's still not there. He's still a mid-carder.
And they have them losing every time out. If you're trying to build a new stable, you need to get these guys some wins. I mean, if you had the Wyatt family jobbing from the start, they wouldn't have taken off.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there was one other bright spot tonight, which was Samoa Joe on commentary.
Always.
I thought he was all right.
You would have rather had Jerry Lawler back talking about Tozawa's flip?
The ramen stuff, of course, obviously not. But Joe, he seemed very subdued. Like I think in the past he was a heel, so he was he stood out more, I thought, than tonight. Tonight he just sounded like just another guy.
He's probably sick and tired of having to be on commentary. He's supposed to be a main event star by now.
Yeah,
it's got to be frustrating as hell.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
you can't stay healthy.
Well, so we did open tonight with MVP doing an edition of the VIP Lounge, bringing out Rey Mysterio, Apollo Crews, and Aleister Black. Of course, Zelina came out with Austin Theory, Angel Garza, and Andrade. They ended up getting into it, which set up a 6-man match. And this was like the first 45 minutes of the show. This match that ended with Apollo Crews, Aleister Black, and Rey Mysterio winning the match.
Yeah, so real quick, they're doing this. They did this again, I want to say either last week or like the week before, where they have like a 6-man tag, and then they break it down into like a tag, and then it breaks down into a singles with who's the party tag team group?
Yeah, they did it with the Street Profits. And
Street Profits. Yeah. And same group of Village People. It's annoying that they do that. They eat up way too much content and time with talents that we don't care enough about just yet. We care about Ray, sure, but too much on my TV.
Yeah, the roster's really big. You can tell the roster's really kind of thin right now. Justin Lopez with the $2 super chat, thanks, asking where has KO been? Is he sitting out? So like a lot of the wrestlers can't be used right now because of all the travel restrictions and things like that. So they're mostly
lives in
using.
Orlando.
Yes.
Does he? Oh,
yeah. Well, I saw him when he was in rehab here with Sammy. I don't know if they actually live here, though. If they were just rehabbing here.
Yeah, I thought he still lives in Canada, but...
Maybe they have 2 residences. Maybe he's in Canada currently.
Yeah, but a lot of, some talent, on their own volition are sitting out during this pandemic. And others, with the travel issues. So you see it's kind of the same talents they're using week in and week out. It's like the same 20 guys.
I mean, there's a lot that live here, though. A lot that live here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
If that's a reason, then that's okay. That's excusable if that's the case.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Marsusili saying WWE Booking 101. Rollins loses at Mania, gets the title shot. Owens wins and disappears. Rollins needs a refresh. I agree with the Rollins stuff. It never makes sense to me to have someone lose a big match and then put them in the world title picture. Like in any movie, would you do that?
No, it's fair. But I agree with you. You're right.
It makes no sense. Let's take a moment, thank the sponsor of tonight's show. The first thing Raj said to me before we went on the air is, "Hey, Glenn, did you get a haircut?" Well, yes, indeed. If you tuned in to last Wednesday's podcast.
You just noted, time out. You just noticed that now, Raj?
I did, yeah, because I listened, but I hadn't seen it yet.
Oh my God, Glenn. Are your feelings like torn to shreds right now that he does not watch us?
Look, Matt Morgan, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. If Raj starts listening and watching this podcast, we're in big trouble, buddy. Like, we're going to be doing our own thing. We're going to be, calling up Vince Russo. Yeah, it's not going to be going well.
By the way, Vince Russo was upset with you, Matt, the other week.
About what?
Because he said he's been calling out JB, saying he's the whole JBL thing with Brawl for All. Vince said he's been saying for years that the reason he did Brawl for All was because JBL was running his mouth, and he has it. Actually, it's in his book.
I was just gonna say, if there's a point that I missed, and he said it like way back in the day that he did Brawl for All because of that, then I'll eat my words and say I like Vince. I got nothing against him.
Yeah.
But to be called JBL, the JBL we saw when I was at SmackDown, like the bully guy. Bullshit. He was no bully just yet. He was still earning his wings. He had Ken Shamrock in the locker room and dudes that would eat him alive. Undertaker. Guys that would never allow that. He was too young. He was too green still to be a bully just yet. It doesn't mean he's... Go ahead.
Was it him being I think Vince wasn't saying he was being a bully, but rather JBL was just talking about how he could beat everybody up and he was this badass.
That's every wrestler.
But I think the way JBL was saying it really got under Vince's skin.
So you design an entire tournament to go see which one? Come on. What was his original reason? There was a different reason he used to give. That's where I'm thinking I'm coming up with this from. There was a different reason he gave us?
I don't think he did. Maybe Jim Cornette did, but Vince.
No.
He sent me the thing from his book where he actually said it. He was
when
really
did the
ticked
book
about
come
it.
out? When did the book come out?
2011, I think. Let me check here. I don't know.
Anyhow,
if he said, well, hang on. If he said, I like Vince. I like Vince. I give him shit, but I do like Vince. I want to make sure it's 2011.
No, 2002.
Then okay. Then that's fair. Okay. Yeah. My bad, Vince. You happy?
I am Error in the chat room. Keep
Why
saying,
not just text me? You do have my freaking phone number. Just text me. Let's talk about how you're going to put me over Bound for Glory versus Kurt Angle for 8 months. Where Kurt Angle walks up to you 5 times at that day and says, I don't know, maybe we should put the 700, 300-pound guy over that we just had run through the entire main event Mafia. Still, though, the best anybody's ever booked me to date. So thank you, Vince, at the same time.
I got a
Back
shout
and
out.
a compliment.
I am Aaron in the chat room are saying, we said Friday night the show wasn't good. And let me tell you, for the problems that Friday night SmackDown had,
I did not get on the ending enough, though. Not nearly enough that I should have. And I apologize to the fans.
it was still a better show than tonight. I would watch Friday's episode 3 times in a row before watching tonight again once.
Yeah, I mean, tonight it's not like there was anything wrong with it. There wasn't anything bad. It's just so boring, and it's talent that they haven't built up yet. The ones that have been built up were used in the last 10 minutes, so it's just boring.
Let me tell you, the time you spent tonight watching Monday Night Raw, you could have spent grooming yourself with our sponsor, Manscaped.
There it is. There
Manscaped.
it is. The transition opening you're looking for.
Manscaped, who brings me this fresh fade that I've got on the top of my head. You should see what I got going on down below, because Manscaped, it's tough, man. I've got thick hair. I'm not the hairiest man, but what I do have is thick. It's tough to tame. And yes, let's talk more details. Now, Matt, on the other hand, that's 7 feet of man.
Matt is not part of this commercial. Continue.
Matt, longtime Manscaped customer, because nothing else is tough enough to tame the blueprint except for Manscaped. Manscaped, the official electric razor of UFC. If you've ever had that awkward moment of sparring against someone who had a full bush coming out of their shorts, Manscaped has everything you need to keep your package nice and tidy. It's the best in men's below-the-belt grooming with their top-notch ball trimmer called the Lawnmower 3.0 that will keep you clean without nicks and cuts. And let me tell you, we're seeing during this lockdown that this could be used all over the body, including for the hair on your head. Manscaped, I'm telling you, it is one of those things where think about your partner. Think about yourself. Think about your own self-respect, not just respect for your partner and tidying things up down there, but think about for yourself. You don't want to look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, like this has just gotten out of hand. Raj, you look in the mirror every day with what's going on top of your head. Imagine the lack of overall grooming and upkeep. Matt, you're still shaving like doing, well, I mean, are you still doing a full body shave right now? I mean, you're not like doing, really? Because it's tough, right? You stop doing it and it's just like, once you start, you can't stop. No,
you got to always maintain it. You'll be there forever. Hey, really quick though, was that really in the ID card about would you say the wrestling part or something like that?
The UFC sparring with your partner with a full bush coming out of their shorts. That is in the copy.
You guys, please hire me, Manscaped. I've been using you guys for years before it was even cool. Before you guys were even a hashtag, I was using you guys. All right, let me rate your stuff, please.
Manscaped, revolutionary, because manscaping can be traumatic and it can be difficult. It can take a lot of time. Manscaped gets the job done. Yes. They have this Lawnmower 3.0. It's proprietary with advanced skin-safe technology, makes manscaping accidents a thing of the past. When you're Manscaped, you will look better and you will feel better in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, especially just sort of sitting around the house lately, man. It's just gross. If you're like hairy, you're unkept, like it's just a bad deal for everyone. And let me tell you, your partner isn't going to want to come near you if you got Sam Roberts poking out of your shorts. That's just not a good look for anyone. So the Lawnmower 3.0 comes inside Manscaped's new Perfect Package 3.0, which makes you step up your grooming game. And it's literally everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. Speaking of smelling nice, let me tell you, the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver, they will keep you from sweating, smelling, and sticking, most importantly. All of these products smell fantastic. The Perfect Package also comes with a pair of Manscaped boxer briefs, my favorite boxer briefs that I own, Matt Morgan's as well. They're not only comfy, but anti-chafing. And hey, you can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code WINC at manscaped.com. Give the perfect gift for yourself, for your schwanz, and your sparring partner, as it were. 20% off, free shipping with the code WINC at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped.com. Whatever you get, use the code WINC at checkout. And we thank Manscaped for supporting the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Really quick. Give me a 20-second here. What is the difference, Glenn, between ball toner and what's the other one? Ball deodorant.
Well, I would think that toner would be afterwards. It would be kind of a skin conditioner, and ball deodorant would literally be something that would prevent against smelling and excessive moisture.
Good job, Glenn. Took me a little while to pick up on that. I was like, these are the same exact thing, but they are not.
You
They
could
give
use
you
both.
explicit directions. They give you explicit directions, in fact, on the back.
You could use both anytime, though, right? It's not just after you shave.
You could get away with it, but you definitely want to do the toner after you shave. But you also want to do the toner when you come out of the shower at first and you dry off.
Yeah.
This stuff smells awesome, for real. It does. It smells. You can smell, your whole body smells of it. Actually, it smells so good. But that stuff, I'm being so sincere, guys. Fans watching this, I'm so dead serious. I've been buying this the minute it came out because this is something wrestlers have been dying for years. Because even when you do your chest and you shave your chest, your abs, your stomach, your arms, shoulders, wherever, your back, normal razors cut the living bleep out of you because after a while, you get sick of how long it takes. You get annoyed. So you start going quicker if you're doing your shoulders, your traps, your chest. And you start, the normal blades leave freaking scratches and scars everywhere. Everywhere. This does not because of that ceramic blade that's on the opposite side of the normal blade there. Yeah, that white part is amazing. I'm shocked it's taken someone this long to come out with it, but they did. And this thing is revolutionary.
It's fantastic, man.
Get it. Trust me.
Absolutely. And, like we talked about, so Raj, you got to get in on this. I know you're going to grow your hair out and make everyone, probably your family, this audience, everyone very uncomfortable when Raj grows his hair way out. But let me tell you, I feel like I took 100 pounds of hair off with this thing, and it took about 15 minutes. It was fantastic. Highly recommend picking up one or two of these, or you can be like Justin LeBar and just use the same one for your entire body, head, and everything. Whatever you prefer.
Actually, I know. I still keep everything, trim and proper. So.
Raj putting it out there. Now, ladies, I know we're locked down now, but let me tell you.
I'm just head on my hair where I have to go to a barber. I'm not going out for that. I'm not going to cut that yet. But I'm still keeping, the beard, body hair, everything else has got to keep it, got to keep it nice and tight.
Hashtag Red Face Raj. Trending worldwide. Glenn, I'm sorry, hang on real quick. Raj, what do you use now? Just normal set of clippers? Or do you like a straight edge?
No, I got I used to have the electric razor, so I just use that.
Raj, speaking of Red Face Raj, I described last Monday, Raj, when Ryback was on this podcast, that it's like the first time that your friend brings his girlfriend to hang out with all of his friends.
First of all, my face isn't red. It's the lighting in this room.
No, when you get embarrassed, your cheeks get red. Dude.
Let's see here. Let's fix this up. All right.
When me and Glenn get into our shenanigans and start talking about anything like opposite of wrestling, and you're getting annoyed with us, you get red face.
It's interesting because I usually don't. I think it's just this room. Real quick, before we get back to Raw, Justin Toner with the $5 super chat. He's saying, Matt, he watched TNA Slammiversary 2009 on Pluto TV's Impact channel this past weekend. You versus Sting was interesting. You looked great back then. Were you happy with it?
No, and because that was probably one of my first bigger matches, and again, to his credit, Vince Russo booked that. Again, I got to give the guy credit. He did book me the best out of anybody booking me between WWE and TNA for sure. And Sting was one of them. But I effed up. If you go back and watch that, Sting Scorpion Death Drop, because I was so damn tall and longer than what Sting maybe thought I was. And he kind of stumbled with me a little bit. So we did like, what do you call it really quick? We called an audible, and he ended up doing it to me by having to climb up the second rope and have to give me the death drop from that instead because I was so taller than he thought I would be. But yeah, I was honored. It was just frigging Sting. What an honor. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Michael Sachs Jr., $5. Didn't even watch Raw tonight. I'd rather watch this podcast. More interesting and much funnier. Never watching Raw. Wow. Hashtag Triple H, please take over WWE.
I agree with that comment. Please.
Well, Triple H, he's in charge of NXT, and that's not really knocking him dead right now either.
Better show.
NXT over this any day. Just the girls division alone, the women's division alone, NXT is better than Raw.
That's fallen a lot more over the past 7 months than any other show.
Because we're what, NXT or the women's division of
No,
NXT?
NXT.
Yeah,
The ratings.
I mean, it
Yeah, the
is.
ratings.
For what I like to watch, I'm just saying, if I had a choice, I definitely like NXT much better than Raw.
So back to Raw tonight. After that 6-man tag, that set up Apollo to get a U.S. title shot with Andrade for later in the show. Then we had Asuka versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax tonight.
Now, these are some hard-hitting girls. So there was going to be some stiff action, I thought, in this match. What did you guys think?
Well, they didn't even start it, right? They just
never started.
Yeah, never started. They just beat each other up.
Going into it, though, were you like, holy shit, one of them are going to stiff Asuka, and Asuka's going to whip their ass out?
Oh, I was thinking this could be a main event. Are you kidding? Like, if you let them go 100% and just have a match, I mean, this could be insane.
Yeah, I mean, this was basically the 3 baddest asses outside of Ronda Rousey that they had.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
So, I was looking forward to which way they were going to go, because they were all in a position where you don't want to beat any of them right now, and that's what they ended up doing. They didn't beat any of them, but I almost thought Nia was going to take the fall just for injuring Kyrie, or just her move to Kyrie last week, but she was the one standing tall at the end.
How many people has Nia injured? I keep reading, people's comments and Twitter and stuff. I guess she's injuring people, it says.
Yeah. It's been a lot. I mean, obviously, famously, Becky Lynch. Let me see. Okay. So, yeah, we saw Kyrie last week. Zelina Vega once. Ember Moon.
Jesus.
R-Truth, I guess. Bailey.
Wow.
And Charlotte, and then Becky Lynch. So
oh my God. Usually, guys, just so you know, for the record, with Vince, as a bigger guy or a bigger girl for that matter, you don't get more than one F up of injuring somebody. Seriously. Maybe 2 at most.
Yeah.
Wow. You just listed like 7.
Mm-hmm.
Or so, whatever. Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good when you put them all back to back like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. My beef with Nia is what was that vignette where she was hanging out with Alexa and her pet pig, and she tried to feed Alexa's pet pig like pork, like bacon, and I was like, oh, that's just a bad person. Like I can't get down with that. I don't know. That's when I turned on her.
That's what did it, Glenn.
Dude, that's weird, man. Like, don't you think that's weird? I mean, that's just like that is a strange behavioral thing to do.
Was it turkey bacon?
No, it was legit bacon, like from a fast food place.
It's to get heat.
No, this was like a behind the scenes thing. This was like a thing where they were hanging out. She was doing it like jokingly, but for real. Like, it was just weird. I mean, this isn't even like some weird preachy vegan stuff. Like, I know other people were sort of disturbed by this as well. I just thought it was odd. But unsafe in the ring, whatever. I'm just like, ooh, not a good person. Yeah. Like, that's a weird move.
Well, maybe she's not aware of the dangers of doing that. Like, she's just trying to feed the pig and didn't realize that feeding it bacon is a bad idea.
You're some human flesh. Isn't that funny? Like, I'm gonna like just feed you.
There are people out there.
She was feeding the pig itself. Its own. It's like he said, feeding a human being.
Yeah, that's some creepy shit.
There are people out there that think the coronavirus has to do with Corona beer. So there are people out there that probably don't know that feeding an animal its own kind is bad for it.
It's just weird behavior. Anyhow, that being said, let me talk about a high point. Speaking of badass women in the WWE, did you guys see that Tamina promo video that she did that's going around Twitter?
Yes.
No.
I did.
Oh my God, that's like the first real promo I think Tamina's ever done.
They need to be doing that.
She was great.
Check that out.
It's really good. She got to show off her personality. I don't think she's beaten Bailey, but I wouldn't be upset if she did. Anyhow, so back to the show tonight. As we said, that match didn't end up happening, but Nia was standing tall at the end. Then we had Bobby Lashley versus Denzel Dujanay. Another squash match with Bobby picking up an easy win.
Real quick, has Becky wrestled since they've been back?
No.
I don't think so, right? Since WrestleMania? She's done promos.
I believe that's about it.
Yeah,
that's it. No actual wrestling. And does this Denzel live in the arena or something? like it doesn't make sense why he continues to get these matches.
Yeah, he probably does. He probably just lives down the street.
Seriously. I live down the street. Give me an hour, WWE. I'll come to the JOB for the right amount of money.
I mean, but who'd you put over? You've said like Orange Cassidy, obviously, is someone that you would in AEW, but in WWE or NXT.
Orange Cassidy before he became famous. All right. I'd like to think that we were semi-responsible for helping. Dude, that tweet went viral.
Yeah.
You guys remember?
Yeah.
I mean, but no, I don't know. Whatever. I'm a good sport. It's not real. I mean, not that it's not real, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, I'm on a mark.
Yeah, but is there a young male talent that you look at who you say I would
Braun,
yeah, okay.
I would. Yeah. I like Braun.
There you go. That works. So back to the show tonight. Do we have any other super chats, Raj?
Sure. Let's get Terry Allen real quick. Terry Allen Jr. is asking you if you liked your Sleeping Giant theme from TNA.
Loved it, actually. I did. I didn't like the beginning of it because it wasn't really wrestling entrancey-ish. But once the chorus hit, I liked it and what the lyrics of it were. Yes.
Did Dixie's husband do that one?
No, they went to a band called Tenfold and they got the rights to it to play for me, which I thought was awesome of them to do something like that to begin with. If the lyrics fit me perfectly, so I actually pose on stage to that. Believe it or not, for NBC men's physique competitions. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We got to look at the new WWE 2K Battlegrounds video game.
So no 2K, no 2K21. This is what they're going to do instead.
It could be okay.
Himself.
Yeah.
I'm a huge 2K mark too. I love that company. I don't know what the hell they were doing with this.
Do you think it's just a strategic thing that they thought they would lose money on the game this year because of how badly reviewed last year's game was, and that they figured getting a year off and just putting something else out there? I don't know.
What do you mean? We had 1,009 glitches. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like they felt like because last year's game was so bad that this year's game wouldn't do well either, regardless of if they fixed it, and that's why they came out with this different game.
Okay, I apologize. I thought they took the one with all the glitches off the market altogether.
Oh no, that's still up there. You can still buy it.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Yeah, Glenn, you know more about this. So
yeah,
developing the video game engine takes forever, right? So where did they come up with this?
Were they gonna use the same engine again?
The
new 2K.
Or is it from another game and they're just changing
from
the
another
faces?
game? They just licensed another engine, most likely.
Yep.
I mean, but it looks, I don't know, it looks very arcade-like. It could actually be good. I mean, if it's not broken, I will absolutely play this game because it just looks like stupid fun.
I might try it. I used to love those arcade games, but I mean, it might be kind of cool, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Wait, arcade like the old school WWF ones?
Mm-hmm. Like,
so cool.
Yeah, like there used to be one called the Main Event that I used to play at the arcade. It was like in the 80s. It was so awesome. Anyway.
It was. Is that the one with like Ted DiBiase and Andre?
No, that was a different one. That was a WWF one. This Main Event was like independent. And
okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. I've been trying to find it. I wanted to buy one for my basement, but I can't get it.
You don't have like a MAME setup?
A what?
No, MAME. It's an arcade emulator. You could essentially build a cabinet. You could do like a Raspberry Pi, one of those little $40 computers, and it can emulate and play thousands of old arcade games. I got this program on my Chromebook. I've been playing that lately. I have like a $80 Chromebook.
Raj is Big Willie over there, so he needs a big arcade to people to walk in and go, "Wow, you got a big arcade here, Raj."
Absolutely.
Tons of money.
He's like, "I restored this from scratch. I bought the original side art, put it on there."
He said,
that and Punch Out.
Oh yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Arcade Punch Out was difficult. Yeah, much harder than.
Oh, and Matt, to your point, that was WrestleFest that you're talking was the WWF one.
I loved that.
That was awesome.
I love that game.
Yeah, thanks, Justin.
Now we got to go back and talk about Raw. Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott. Liv Morgan picking up a pretty easy win here, but what did you make of that promo afterwards that she cut? About still trying to figure out who she is and what. Well, I mean, it seemed
it was either fair because we don't know who the hell she is.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was something like how Vince sees millennials, or something along those lines. But they're pushing Liv. They're being consistent with it. She keeps getting these wins on TV. They're not doing the 50-50 with her and Ruby. And I see star potential in Liv. I feel like she keeps getting better. So I thought that was good.
I think that if this was genuine and honest, Matt, then that's great that she was just literally like, hey, Liv, what's been up with you? And she's like, I'm still figuring out what's up with me. I don't know. It would probably be the most honest thing WWE put on the air.
Well, nothing. Come on. Nothing they do is going to be a promo like that. Everything they do is scripted.
Yeah.
But they're obviously listening to the fans saying, well, wait a minute. She was just involved in this lesbian triangle, whatever, 2 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden she's now in this character coming out like this. And now she's like this. She's made a change, it feels like, 3 different times in a matter of like a month and a half to 2 months since she's come back. So that's a fair promo, I think, that she should be cutting.
I agree with you if it's sincere, Matt. What I almost wonder is if they're going to have her actually, this sounds like a Vince thing. They're going to have her come out every week with a new different gimmick while she's trying to settle on who she is.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's
like
that.
Charlie Haas had to do.
Yeah. Because she's been doing the same thing every week as far as her attire and everything. They are, Juhali Parwani at the $5 Super Chat, he's saying that the game is the same team that made NBA Playgrounds. And in their statement, they acknowledge 2K20 errors, and they're fixing it for next year. So there you go. NBA Playgrounds, have you played that?
I have not.
Okay.
I don't even have I literally have been playing like Paperboy and 720 and Ms. Pac-Man lately. That's been my go-to games. I don't think my Xbox is hooked up anymore. So the Viking Raiders cut a promo on the Street Profits declaring they want the smoke.
They've just murdered the Viking Raiders these last 2 weeks. I mean, they were kind of losing the crowd before everything went, crowdless.
Kinda.
But now they're throwing the dirt.
Why were they, really quick? Why were they driving around in an SUV, randomly just yelling things to each other? Did you see that?
Yeah, last week it was.
What was that?
It was so bad. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
But who
wasn't
hasn't
even funny to make fun of them funny?
Yeah, he had a big turkey leg or something like from the Flintstones.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Who hasn't just ridden around with their friends yelling things out the window at random or to each other in the car?
To each other, yes.
That happened once. I remember I had a friend, Rob. He's a character. He would just yell out random hip hop lyrics, and then he would insist on rolling down the window and screaming out "Money ain't a thing" to people as we drove by them.
Oh my God, he needs to be punched in the mouth as hard as possible.
I would have loved him to drive by Matt.
God. What? Glenn, you should have defriended him immediately.
You know what's funny?
That is a total D-bag move.
It is.
Total D-bag.
Yeah. This is my friend that ran for city council 2 years ago and lost in a landslide after I spent all that time like working with him on his campaign. Yeah. He's a good guy, but he was a character.
But you mean the guy that was yelling out the window, "Money ain't a thing," didn't win his election? You don't say.
It wasn't during the election. Actually, he probably would have gotten more votes doing that during the election.
If he did that.
Yeah, that probably would have worked out better for him. Anyhow, Akira Tozawa versus Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal returning tonight, looking dominant. They're hyping up his championships. We talked about it earlier.
And basically
winning,
squashed him.
Yeah, with the Colossus. That was good.
Yeah, Jinder looked good. Yeah, he cut his hair pretty short, but yeah, he looked good here.
Put it back in there, please. Oh, thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, all the chat room is now asking about how I'm playing. Well, like 5 people in the chat room are asking how I'm playing old video games. It's it's something called MAME, M-A-M-E. I forget what it stands for, but it's like arcade machine emulator or something. Look it up. It's on every platform. You can install it on like a Chromebook, your computer. It's fantastic. It will let you play all the old arcade games. Anyhow, like seriously, like this week, that should be like a good time waster for everyone. It's a lot of fun. So this United States title match, Apollo Crews versus Andrade tonight. So what happened? Is Apollo like legitimately injured?
No.
Okay, well, I
Is
don't know.
who?
Apollo, because at the end they did the thing where they called it he's unable to compete at the end. So I just always want to ask.
Remember, in storyline, like he kind of tweaked his leg outside the ring during the match, and then for the finish, he came off the top rope, and they sold it like he landed badly, and they did the referee stoppage. But they wouldn't do a backstage segment with him later if he was legitimately injured, you know.
Yeah.
It was a way to get out of a match. Like they did that earlier in the night with the triple threat. I guess they didn't want to beat Andrade twice in the show, and they didn't want Apollo to win the title yet. I think a DQ would have been fine in this case, but they didn't.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If I hadn't seen these guys wrestle earlier in the night, I would have been much more invested in this match.
Yeah.
Me too.
And if it wasn't 40 minutes earlier in the match, the first hour pretty much was that.
It was.
Yep. So then after that, man, all these Triple H videos tonight. Did this feel like this was really running it into the ground after Friday?
What do you mean?
Well, the Triple H 25th anniversary, they had the Moments Friday. He came out and spoke. They did the thing with Vince. Sean was there. It was awkward, but it's like tonight, I don't know. I mean, I get that he had a lot of great moments.
I thought this is what they should have done Friday night, quite frankly. I think they should have just done a really slick video package for all of his successful moments in the company. Just keep it like that versus what that crap was on SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, the way they were building it was like there was going to be another one of those tonight. Because, when they said they're going to do another Triple H Appreciation Night tonight. So I'm with you, Matt. I'm glad they didn't do it again. That would have been overkill if they did another segment. And I thought just the clips, they didn't need to be doing that, but it felt really tonight like WWE was trying to find ways to kill time from the 40-minute match. And not just tonight, but a lot of weeks where they're just trying to kill as much time as possible. There's tons of video packages. The Triple H stuff was some of it.
Yeah. Then we had the Street Profits responding to the Viking Raiders, saying they accept the challenge and they can get the smoke next week. It really all sounds so much stupider reading it as a recap, like rather than when it was said. But then we got the video recap of Becky Lynch and her moment at WrestleMania. This was from her 24 special. I'm a huge Becky Lynch fan, but let me just say I'm a little tired of I don't need to see this match or clips from this WrestleMania main event. Like, give it a 6-month break. We've seen it so many times from every angle.
Please.
And also Becky talking about how the crowd was so into it when anyone that watched that match knew that the crowd was just dead for this match. And again, it's not their fault. It was on so late. I mean, the match itself wasn't great, but it was what it was. Another video package. They were again, like I said, they're just trying to kill time. It was
there.
It was on.
It was indeed there. What about Everrise versus Cedric Alexander and Ricochet?
Who?
Everrise. This was Chase Parker and Matt Martell from NXT.
Did they say from NXT?
It says that in the Wrestling Inc. recap.
Okay. I feel like it's
I didn't hear them say it on the show.
Because they say it a lot with these, the guys they're using as enhancement talent. They're like, oh, it's so-and-so from NXT. And I think it just makes NXT look bad that every time you're saying that, it's someone that's, basically being
doing
an
the
enhancement
job.
talent. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I agree with that. But they've got to do some sort of introduction. So, because it is weird, if you do watch NXT and you see these guys and gals on that show, and they're there on Raw, not to make acknowledgement of it is also kind of weird too. Right. How about this? Don't put them in this situation to begin with.
Yeah.
Don't bring them up just to job them.
Well, next week, we saw at the end of this, MVP reintroducing Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink of NXT, setting them up after Ricochet and Cedric got this match tonight. What's up with MVP? Like, does he live close to the Performance Center? Is he like bunking there? Why is MVP having this renaissance?
Well, MVP works there now. He's a producer. He's a
I
backstage.
mean, I like
producer.
MVP, but I'm just saying, like, we're seeing a lot of MVP these last couple weeks.
But yeah, he's a producer, and yeah, I think that's great that they're using him because he's got charisma. He's still got can talk better than a lot of the guys. So. Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. I don't know how many people would be excited to see them against this, against Ricochet and Apollo, but MVP being there adds a lot to it.
That's true. That's true, and these are good points, Glenn, because that was a question I was wondering about too. Why is this guy just randomly getting a run all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Again, Matt, you live close by too. If they're just calling in former talent.
But these guys work for the company.
Can I have a Piper's Pit?
Tammy's pointing out that the NXT people they have on Raw are rarely on NXT TV anyway. Yeah, so they shouldn't bring up that they're from NXT. Just have them.
So then don't bring it up then.
Yeah, because
just they're there to be jobbers and enhance them. Don't say they're from NXT if that's the case. You're right.
Yeah.
Even weirder given how they re-showed that Triple H moment. I agree. It was a really cool moment from Survivor Series. Like having NXT call their shot for Survivor Series. If I'm a fan that doesn't watch NXT, I probably don't know what to make of it, given they show something like that, and then we just see NXT talent constantly losing on Raw and SmackDown.
And again, these aren't
people know it's the slick show or the edgy show.
Yeah, and again, these aren't like top guys. It's not like they're having Adam Cole losing enhancement matches.
Yeah, okay.
But to the point, I think by saying NXT and then showing it, because so much of the audience doesn't watch NXT, a third of the Raw audience probably watches NXT. To the other 2/3, it makes it sound like an inferior brand.
Yeah, Matt, if there was a wrestler that lost all the time and they kept billing him as being from Longwood, Florida, and if his thing was losing, wouldn't you be like, hey, can we lay off the Longwood part? Can we just say like Seminole County maybe? Do we have to specifically like associate our city with this one guy who always loses?
That's terrible. No, but I know what you're saying. I think we're all analyzing it a little bit. We're spending a little bit too much time talking about
perception matters,
because it's not like but they're not. Yes, it does. Perception's reality, in fact. But unfortunately, rather, they're not doing it with their main NXT talents.
Yeah,
Ciampa's not coming up there and jobbing in 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah, they just shouldn't be saying it, but yeah,
it's still.
But they need to use
still the edgy brand.
Yeah, they don't have enough talent, so they need to be using their development talent, on TV. So anyway,
I just still don't know though, because there is so many. Listen, there is so many people that live here that work in that company here in Central Florida. There's 100.
Yeah, but there's how
so
many?
I don't know why a lot of these other talents are not wrestling. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think
they're not all home in their home states.
Yeah, but maybe with the testing procedures and everything that they have in place, they only want to use talent under contract and not outside. And so that's why these NXT guys are being used is because they are under contract and they have to go through all the testing and maybe they're agreeing to quarantines and things like that.
I do mean under contract talents.
Yeah.
They live here. Central Florida and Orlando and Tampa.
I think they are probably using a lot of them. They're using guys that can be enhancement talent on TV that you won't remember. So later when they do get a push and they bring him back, that you won't remember him. So,
Chris Davies tweeted at us, Raj, that WWE has tweeted announcing that Apollo Crews will not be competing in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match due to the knee injury he suffered during his title match tonight against Andrade. So,
all right, so an injury angle.
I was really happy for Apollo. This actually kind of sucks.
What do you think that's about? Maybe it can still be a work.
Yeah, it's a work. I'm sure it's just a storyline thing to get someone else in the match.
Yeah, not to get sympathy on him, and he'd come out of nowhere and come back into the match somehow.
Dude, it's in the office. Apollo should be like there, like disguised as like a maintenance man, and then Andrade like thinks he's gonna go up there, and just Apollo out of nowhere. Like they could do some cool shit with this, given that it's in the office building.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm really looking
again,
forward
if these were real, the injuries aren't, and someone's getting pulled, they don't announce it till days later. They're not going to be doing a backstage promo with them, which was clearly scripted.
Yeah, and they would never cut somebody and then put them on TV, making it seem like they could win their job back in a predetermined tournament either. I mean, come on, let's be real.
But that's different. I don't know why why they're doing that either, but I'm just saying from a scripting standpoint, if he's injured, they're not going to have him rush him to a backstage segment with his knee already bandaged up. 15 minutes later.
Still can't get over the Drake Maverick thing. As like confirmations come out, like, oh no, they haven't rehired him. Like, it's really crappy.
He will be rehired. I will bet you guys he'll be rehired.
Yeah, that's kind of what it. I don't see how they don't at this point. I mean, they would just look like a cold asshole company if they didn't doing this storyline.
Yes, they would.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Jerry Lawler came out for the contract signing between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. They traded barbs. And
real quick, with that backstage promo with Apollo Crews. Where he was walking by. Charlie Caruso asked him, how disappointed he is or something like that. And he just started crying and walked off.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, this contract signing, what did you think of this, Matt?
Actually, Matt, let me ask you something
Jerry
real quick.
Lawler.
When you see someone crying like that, does it make you build sympathy for them in a wrestling standpoint?
Or
think they're yeah.
Or think they're a wimp?
Just whiny or, just grow a pair. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with people crying or anything like that. But in a wrestling context...
we now know what you feel. We now know what you feel.
No, I don't. But Vince seems like the type of guy that if he's having a talent cry on TV, it's probably someone he doesn't... he's not planning to push that heavily.
I mean, yeah, through a Vince eyesight, yes, that's true. But it's meant to develop sympathy. It's not to make them embarrassed or something, right?
It's not like a Mike Kanellis thing.
Somebody thought that was a good idea, and it just hit that day, and somebody said, "Let's go with it." They didn't go out of their way to make him look like an idiot. Come on, they've been booking him pretty damn strong, actually, after WrestleMania. They've been using him a lot, but what was the next you guys? Oh, Jerry Lawler. I add absolutely nothing to this, by the way. He's annoying at this point.
I think they probably feel bad because he's there. He's there because of them. So they felt like they needed to use him and figured him on commentary is probably not the best look, given his medical history, his age, and then having him, inches apart from the other commentators was just a bad look. That's my guess. I don't know.
This promo, I think, as someone pointed out earlier, it's like given Seth's track record recently. I mean, I don't know how invested I am in all this. I think Drew attacking Seth at the end and them having Murphy save Rollins. I mean, this feels very placeholder. I mean, I hope this solidifies Drew even more as the champion. But man, Drew versus Jinder, I'm way more interested in seeing than Drew versus Rollins.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Rollins, this Monday Night Messiah stuff is just not working. And when he's doing these promos, I'm just not getting into him. There was the one he did with Kevin Owens before WrestleMania that I thought was really good. But other than that, none of this Monday Night Messiah stuff has been connecting. It's too over the top to where you don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Peter Bahi pointing out, Big Show would cry on live TV and he was the champion.
Yeah, but not when he was getting his big push at the top.
So yeah, this was Raw tonight, and I'm not having the feeling that I have sometimes where I'm like, oh, when I watched it was one thing, but as I'm talking about it, it wasn't that bad. It's like talking about it, like, nope, talking about it feels much like watching it did.
Wait, did you mention the brawl that broke out and Drew left him?
Oh yeah, with Murphy and the aggressive hugging at the end.
Okay. Yeah, so Murphy's back with Seth. AOP is gone for the near future, so I would guess that would mean they're probably going to add a couple more people to the stable because of which one of them is injured? Razor. It's got the bicep injury.
I don't know.
They decided not to use that.
How do you get hurt? Just being heaters. I don't get it.
No, this was months ago. This was like when they were still doing the shows with the crowds. There was one match where he caught the guy wrong and injured his bicep.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Okay.
So there you have it. That was Raw tonight.
Well, this was boring as hell. And folks, you can tell by how we're covering it. This sucked the energy out of every room and household in America. It sucks saying that, too. It sucks. Because, look, you're going to be deemed... Listen to me. You're going to be deemed an essential business at a time where it was super controversial. You better come with it. You better come with something that does make its mark that, yes, you're entertaining America during a really tough time right now. Good for you, WWE. That's not what we got. We got craptastic TV is what we got.
It just looks like WWE is saying, we don't want to be doing this, but we have to. We need to still make the money from the TV deal, so here you go.
It was bad. Were you guys fans of Night Court as a kid?
Yeah.
The sitcom?
Oh, my God, yes.
So Night Court thought they were ending in season 8, and they went out with a bang, and NBC was like, actually, we're extending your option for another year, and they came back for season 9 that was absolutely terrible. Like, nothing made sense. It was all phoned in. It was really lame. That is what it reminded me of.
Glenn, we were way too little, though, to acknowledge that. You had to have seen that when you got older, because we were little kids when that came on Thursday nights.
Yeah, when it started, but it ended in 1992. And I remember halfway through that ending
Did it
season.
really?
Yeah. Then I stopped watching.
Yeah, and season 9 was
I thought it ended in the 80s.
Oh, no.
Because I was a little kid. I remember being a little kid, and if I got to stay up to watch it, I mean, it was past my bedtime.
Yeah. But it just feels like one of those things, like this is a contractual obligation where we are going through the motions.
It's like the skits at the end of SNL, like the last after Weekend Update, where they're like, we need content out there. So
but sometimes that's when the weird shit happens on SNL, and it can be incredible when they do some of those that are just really strange. When it's in that last skit.
Remember the last time.
Anyhow, but to that purpose though, they did the Boneyard match. We did the Firefly Funhouse match. Vince is talking about mini movies, moving away from the live entertainment business. Like, I want them to remember they're making a TV show first and foremost, and that is their job, to give us 3 hours of quality television. Not even quality, 3 hours of watchable TV every Monday night.
Yeah. I mean, this is where we're at right now. I hope they try to change some stuff, do more interesting stuff backstage, but this is, I mean, look, let's go ahead and get into it. SmackDown this past, Vince was on the investors call last week, and he was saying that Raw ratings are down mostly because of newer talent. They're pushing new talent, and but he said it'll bounce back.
That's bullshit.
But he said SmackDown hasn't been affected.
They're pushing newer talent like Everrise.
But SmackDown this past Friday night, it did its lowest rating ever, 2.005, lowest ever on Fox, 2.005 million viewers on Fox. It was up against the draft. The draft, I'm sure, definitely hurt it, but it was still last in the 18 to 49 demo and also last in total viewers. So if the draft hurt it, still should have been number 2 and beating the other shows in the demo, but it's, I don't know.
Listen. All right, when we say it's the lowest rating of all, they've only been on Fox for X amount of months, first of all. It's not like they have 500 shows they can on Fox.
Okay, Raw did.
They only have so many episodes.
Raw is doing their lowest ever in their history.
Yes, but when people keep saying what you just said, you're not the only one. I see everyone saying that on Twitter, too. Lowest rating SmackDown ever on Fox. They've only been on Fox for months, folks. So it's not like a whole cornucopia of episodes they could choose from that they're competing against here for the lowest number. More importantly, listen, more importantly, the real telling thing is everyone in America is at home right now, okay, with guns to their head, with nothing to watch on television right now, and they're still choosing not to watch WWE. That's the most alarming part of all of this.
Yeah.
Nothing else is on. There's literally nothing else on normal cable television right now, Glenn, in which like their numbers should be going up.
They should be,
because there's nothing else going.
There's not a lot of new content.
Listen, when they got declared,
yeah.
Listen, when they got declared an essential business, that alone should have been enough to get people go, what the hell's going on in WWE? That they're an essential business all of a sudden. Let me tune in and see what I've been missing. That should have drawn eyeballs.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, but there's nothing else new. I think viewing is more spread out than ever right now because there's so many options. That being said, I know you guys are loving your Michael Jordan documentary, but did you watch the Beastie Boys documentary? Did you watch the Beastie Boys documentary that dropped?
No.
Wait, you don't like the Beastie Boys, man?
No, hell no.
Wait, really?
I do, but it's not even. I'd say I didn't. I said I do, but it's not even in the conversation with The Last Dance. And The Last Dance is a great example of you put good content on TV, everyone will watch it because we're all home. We don't have any other choice.
Yeah, and to your point with the Fox number, it is dropping every week. Raw has been dropping every week, so people are with nothing to watch. They're choosing not to watch this, and because the ratings for the other shows are not down, regular TV shows as far as
terrifying. That should be terrifying. That should be an immediate cause to say we've got to change things immensely.
Yeah.
Not dependent on a few new stars that might come back from injury. Let's wait for that, brother. No. Change your concept of how you put out your shows. You've got to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is talent. I'm so sorry. I find this so telling. There's no other sports on right now. They're not losing it to other sports right now.
Yeah.
Although soon basketball's coming back.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And this goes for AEW too. Their
it's gonna
numbers
be weird though.
They were up last week a little from the week before. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Let me make a prediction real quick on NBA that nobody's even talking about. They need to start talking about. NBA curses like you won't believe. NBA players. If you ever go to a game, if you sit in the front row, you'll listen to it. Dude, I'm telling you right now, they're gonna have a very hard time having these guys playing these arenas with no fans. They're gonna be bleep. You're gonna hear beeps every 2 seconds. Mark my words.
Well, they said shit
every
tonight
2 seconds
on Raw in the last segment there, that contract signing. So,
yeah, they do that. They've been doing that here and there. So anyway, scary numbers for AEW too. They did their lowest number in the demo the last 2 weeks in a row, tied for the lowest number. They're going to go back to taping starting next. Next week will be live. Then they're going to rotate tape live. So AEW's basically coming back, kind of a similar schedule to WWE's with how they're doing it, with basically a live show one week and then they tape that same week and they show the tape show the following week. So yeah.
What else is going on?
Last thing, did you guys hear you could buy the dirt from the Boneyard match? They're selling 536 of the dirt capsules, and you can buy them for $75.
What? You can't be serious.
A capsule of the dirt for $75. So, I'm just not kidding.
I don't know, Raj. There are people that believe giving you money via YouTube is going to result in you watching the Goonies. So apparently these marks will buy anything, you know?
Dirt's a new one.
Any of you all buy that, do not unfollow me immediately.
They did. I remember one time they cut up the ring, like one of the WrestleMania rings, and you could buy a piece of the canvas. I thought that was kind of cool. But,
yeah, sure.
But and it was in a plaque, and they did the whole thing. But I mean, I wouldn't pay for it.
First of all, I would never believe that that's the real dirt from the thing to begin with.
Yeah, that's
dirt from some random backyard. What did you say?
Yeah, Peter Bahi saying, let Jeremy Borash write Raw and SmackDown. Shoot Raw and SmackDown like the Boneyard Max mixed with Kirby enthusiasm. Empty arena wrestling is cringe. I do think doing more backstage stuff, a little more improv-ish, but you have your storylines backstage and more of that talent meetings, Vince having disagreements with Triple H over who they're putting on the show. Stuff like that I think would be way more fascinating than what we got right now.
I gotta say, that's what I liked about the Vince segment Friday, is it was so freaking weird. At least it wasn't the Viking Raiders talking about how they want the smoke.
Dude, okay, yes, this is true, but I gave them credit on the air here for thinking outside the box. And even though it was good, bad, or indifferent, we got to give them credit for trying to think outside the box. No, we don't. I take that comment back. It was,
back in the box, WWE. Back in the box.
Please. It was terrible.
What's the Jordan documentary called again?
The Last Dance.
And it's on ESPN?
Yes.
Oh my God!
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Dork! I can't believe you don't watch this.
Oh, I'm getting.
It's the hottest thing, dude. It's the new Tiger King, but cooler.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is awesome. Jordan curses like a sailor in it. It's really, really good though.
Yeah. I've heard
really,
great things.
really
Is it all done, or are they still airing it?
No, 10 episodes.
Oh wow! So has there only been one?
10 episodes. They're still airing it. No, they showed 2 episodes each Sunday. This past Sunday, they showed episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But you can go back and watch them all. So watch them. They're worth it. Trust me. They let the cameras come with them for an entire season, which I unheard of 20 years ago.
Wait, so they've had this all this time?
Final championship season. They were gonna and they were gonna always do it this year, and they released it earlier than normal because everybody's home right now with nothing to watch on TV.
Huh.
So they're releasing it earlier than expected.
Oh, cool. All right. I will check it out.
It is really good. You don't have to be an MJ fan or Bulls fan to like it. There's awesome stuff on it with Rodman and just the rivalries. And we grew up in a really cool time. That's all I'm going to say. We grew up in a very cool time for sports.
Yeah. Yeah, growing up, I mean, Tyson, Jordan, they were like just another level of icon.
Tyson, Jordan, Hulk, and then Hulk Hogan. Like, we got to see the greats, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was a time. Yeah, I mean, there is other stuff to watch right now, but there isn't a lot of live content being produced, and I think that's where WWE is
what am I
failing.
missing that you keep saying? Like, tell me what these other shows you're talking about.
We talked about how Better Call Saul wrapped up last week, so they finished that last Monday night. That was an entire season. So Apple dropped the Beastie Boys documentary over the weekend. Watch that. That was good. There's still shows that are airing.
Apple Plus or Apple TV?
Yeah, Apple TV. So if you got the hookup there, and that was very, if you're a Beastie Boys fan, that was very good. Netflix dropped that movie Extraction over the weekend. Like, movies and TV are still dropping on streaming, but it's all stuff that was been produced, obviously, before everything shut down. In fact, there's a lot of shows right now, like Superstore had this problem. A few other shows had their production schedule interrupted. So you're getting a lot of abrupt season finales now. Like, shows are dropping off every week because they're running out of episodes. So it's like WWE is going to have less competition going forward. And the big talk in Hollywood right now is, how are we going to keep producing new content in this new uncertain time? It's going to change the way movies and TV are made. It's going to be almost like drama camp. They're going to fly people to a sequestered location and then have them just stay there while they shoot everything.
I'll be honest, I don't get what's so hard about shooting. I mean, things are going to start getting more relaxed now. So I don't understand why that's so difficult to do. When they're so rich, they have so much money, they have so many doctors on site there. You check everybody's temperature that comes in every single day, and you be very strict about it, obviously. And it's a closed set. I mean, I would argue Joe Blow, the neighbor down the street, has a lot more to worry about going back into when they open up a restaurant and sit down to simply get a meal and catching that virus versus a closed set in Hollywood does.
Well, Matt, to your point, it's not the celebrities. It's the same problem that WWE had with a member there, I believe. It's the crew. It's the people that are working longer hours, have to travel to multiple locations. A star could probably go and sequester themselves in their luxury trailer for the entire duration of a shoot, but your average gaffer or key grip has to go home each night to their family, and it introduces more potential risks that are involved in the process.
A lot of these movies,
though? I mean, anything I ever shot, those types of employees are on the road with us for what we're shooting. For Dallas, Texas, they're on the road with us doing all that work. It's a shit ton of work, But they don't go back home afterwards. They're at the hotel with us.
Yeah. Well, that's the thought. I guess it's going to be more location shoots. So remember, the majority of TV shows are still shot on sound stages and studios in the Southern California area. It's going to change budgets. Everything's going to have to become essentially a location shoot if you've got to house and feed 24 hours a day every single person. That was even the other thing people bring up, like catering. Like catering could be a way that this comes in, so they have to almost get all the food ahead of time, make sure everything is screened, cooked to the right temperature. Like there's a lot of issues going on with it. And so with WWE, I mean, in a way, they're kind of pioneering that this is possible. And yes, we give them shit. And yes, the essential business thing was kind of shady. But if they prove this can work and nobody gets sick again, that will actually probably be a model that Hollywood will try and copy in a lot of their productions going forward.
And listen, and I mean, no disrespect, but WWE, in my opinion, with how many people are on that roster and how many people are working backstage there, okay? In my opinion, like even 5 people would not be enough, in my opinion, for it to do something as far as making them stop. I'm being so serious. Can I give you a statistic right now?
Sure.
In Seminole County right now, as of today, 7 total COVID-19 tests, positive tested patients are taking up our hospitals all across our county right now. It's down to 7. So people are getting, so I'm not undercutting the virus, but at the same time, look, that's a real number. That's not a made up number. Numbers don't lie. And we've done our part, in all of us, I would say, across this country in slowing the spread. And we need to continue to do it. But we got to go back. This country's got to reopen. People got to go back to doing what they're doing, because there's other numbers that are going up right now, like domestic abuse, alcoholism, addiction, depression. And more importantly, I'm watching business after business lose everything that they put, every single penny they've ever had of their lifetimes, gone. And it's sad as hell to watch. And I'm sorry, we've got to go back, be smart about it. Everyone has their own prerogative on how they want to re-enter this, right? You want to stay home, stay home. If you have to go back into work to make a living, I guarantee you that place will be smart about how they do that. There'll be social distancing. You wear your mask. I wear my gloves everywhere, even when I don't even need them, just to double up safe. You know, we're all going to enter this very slowly, I'm hoping, and smartly.
And we probably need to start testing a lot of people that have no symptoms, just to see how widespread it is, how many people have gotten this. So.
And now we can. I got tested with no symptoms this weekend, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the testing being readily available is going to be a necessity to make this work. But, I think the scary thing is, Raj and I were talking about this off the air. I think you have people that fall into any at-risk category. That could be someone with diabetes, someone with high blood pressure, someone that's overweight, that's in a high-risk category. That's like 60% of the U.S. population when you add all that up. So I think it's going to be the challenge of, can we have a 50% economy that functions and keeps everything in business? That's going to be the question.
And also with the number of people that have it now, before when it spread, it was just a small amount of people that had it. Now opening it up with all these people that might have it with no symptoms going out, like how much worse does that spread with the second wave until you can get tested, know you don't have it.
Yes, there have been people that have it that didn't know they even had it, and it's already come and gone.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
But they can give it to someone else, like if they still had it.
Absolutely. Who can't get through it? Absolutely. That's true.
And so what I'm saying is, when this first started, it was a very small amount of people that we believe that it spread from, just a small amount. Now you have all these other people that probably have it that just don't show any symptoms. And like I haven't taken a test, but I have no symptoms. But if I went out and got, all of a sudden I'm back to doing my stuff and going to restaurants and everything.
Here's the thing, no matter what happens, all right, you can have this virus. You can get over this virus, be quarantined for 14 days. You have to get retested after that. Now that you test negative, a week could go by, and guess what? You can get it all over again. All right, so listen, it's yes, you're not immune just because you've had it. That's what they're saying right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's freaking scary, man. I mean, we're the right age for this. But I was thinking this the other day. It was like, you know, I remember growing up in the age of HIV and thinking about what a risk that was and how that impacted like entire
That was a
generations.
death sentence. That was a
Yes.
death. It was a total death sentence. When Magic got it, I thought that's it. I cried my eyes out because he was going to die. My dad told me.
Yeah. No,
That's
you
how I was
think about
explaining to me. He didn't tell me how you get it or nothing.
exactly.
He told me that
I-
he was going to die from it.
They made it when you were a kid. They made it sound like you could get it from having sex with any woman. They didn't say that they had to be infected, and
Oh yeah.
like you could get it from anyone.
I didn't even get that courtesy. I wasn't even mature enough for them to give me that part of the conversation, apparently.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm at risk. I'm going to go to school today. I hope I don't get HIV. Like, because they're really making it seem like this is, yeah, I know, like that. And if you smoke crack, your heart's going to explode and you'll die. Between crack and AIDS, I didn't leave the house for the better part of the late 80s. No, but seriously, I mean, we grew up under the specter of a public health crisis. Then I'm not making light of it. The fact that we can even talk about this now and how some of it seems so overblown speaks to the great medical advances. I mean, Magic Johnson's still alive, kicking. Magic Johnson's in better health than probably the three of us combined right now. And I think that with something like this, it's so scary because it's been such a long time since there was something that was this deadly, this widespread, and this at risk. And it's going to change things. And I think we're still in the early stages of it. So Matt, to your point, I get
we're at the end. We're at the end of the beginning is what we are, because this was just new information, Glenn, that you are not immune to it once you get it and you get over it. That's not been old information. That's new. That's somewhat new. And they're going to continue to get new information. And we could test everybody. We could test everybody 500 times. Guess what? The 501st time that they don't test you could be when you get it. So we've got to develop the antibodies to fight this virus until a vaccine comes out. Don't just sit holed up in their home for a year and a half.
There's a good article on Politico.com, where they're looking at all the different treatments and stuff that they're working on right now with all the different companies. So it helps ease the mind a little bit.
And Glenn, and not to scare everybody, Glenn, I think this is worse. I think this is worse than HIV, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of how 100 miles an hour out of the cannon this came.
Just how contagious.
No, I mean, absolutely. And that's the thing.
Spread.
This is like, I mean, I can't even imagine for generations coming up right now that are seeing the specter of this. But I think for all of us, I mean, look, this podcast has been playing out in real time as we saw and talked about, I mean, over episodes and episodes. And it's like looking at it now, it's like, I don't freaking know, man. It's like, I look at everything that's going on and it's scary. It's terrifying. 1 million cases. I mean, we were up to almost 60,000 Americans dead from this.
That's a million confirmed,
a million confirmed cases. And Matt, to your point, like I absolutely get what you're saying about Longwood and that it's hit from there, but it's like if you open everything up tomorrow and a bunch of tourists from
500,000. 500. That's out of 500,000 residents.
I understand. But if you open up everything tomorrow and a bunch of tourists from New York say, "Hey, we want to go to Longwood, get out of Manhattan," it's like I would think you'd have people turning them away at the border, being like, "No, it's good. Let's not travel right now." Because shit can take a turn very, very quickly. So, look, I want whatever happens, I think, for the sake of humanity, we need to be successful. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not the best person to ask about it, but looking at the numbers, like it sucks all around.
It's got to be a slow of both.
Yeah.
Is what it's got to be. Because again, Glenn, and nobody talks about this because they're scared to bring it up. What happens if we continue to do the stay at home for let's say another month? People are losing it as it is, right? Give it another month, let's say another 2 of stay at home. You don't think people will be robbing after that? You don't think people will be breaking into stores and stealing food and stealing stuff and looting? I guarantee you it will happen. Look what we're seeing right now with people that think their constitutional rights are being trampled on with all this to begin with. And they're on the middle of the streets just going against the grain right now, just echoing their opinions right now, right?
And tragically,
it's going to get worse.
This past Friday, my office was broken into. Like the building that my office is in, and then my door was open.
People can't go back. Oh my God! When people can't go back to work and make a living, the next step is people will steal.
Yeah. Which was weird because these guys were apparently just looking for cash, because I had a bunch of stuff out and they didn't take anything. Just They were just looking for cash in all the buildings.
I am
Sorry to
a
hear
pretty
that.
moderate center left kind of guy, not compared to this hippie Raj Giri over here with his Bernie or Bust bumper stickers and the solar panels on his roof.
I do have a Tesla, but
let me tell you that I think there is something to this idea. It's weird to me seeing how socialism, some of these policies have happened and are somewhat of the solution. And I think that freaks people out too. But at the same time, things like universal basic income, if you look at the companies that have abused this paycheck program and like all the money that's gone to billionaires and people that didn't need it that just applied for this, I feel like there's something really messed up that we're not putting money in the pockets of people who are at the absolute bottom to give them like not even the most minimal quality of life. Because I think you're right, Matt, but I think what's going to happen is, and this is probably what scares a lot of the people with the billionaires that are saying, hey, we need to get everyone back to work, because those are the people that they're coming for first. When the class uprising happens and the broke have no other options and the people living in poverty, like that's when the shit's really going to go down. And we're going to talk about like the French Revolution level of shit happening. Like that's what I think is like crazy just to even think is a possibility.
well, that's why you can't let it get to that point. I mean,
if that's the way you see it, I see the way is if you bust your the best thing about our country has always been this and will always be this, which is you bust your ass more than anybody else out there. Okay? You bust your ass like nobody's business. You get so good at something that you're able to make a decent living for you and your family for it. You should earn every penny that you got coming to you because of how much you were willing to bust your ass to get that. Not every rich fat cat is rich and fat because he's just born into this lap of luxury. Okay? I've earned every single penny I've earned here getting slammed on my head for years, all right? 21 questions later. People would give me the perception that they assume I have money. I don't have money. I make $900 a month being mayor. Okay? So I think, my opinion, this is the way I've always seen America, which is you got to help your fellow brothers and sisters up in life. Always. That's what we're here to do. But by the same token, you also have got to, I believe, to get people out there, get your kids and the next generation inspired that if you go out there and you hit a home run out there, you will be paid for it by how hard you're willing to work at something, not just chilling and thinking that you got something coming to you. Because in other countries, people get free insurance and free this and free that. It leads to those that will not bust their ass and that will take advantage of that. And it will kill our future generations of being able to go out there and develop that strong work ethic, that thick skin, that this scary as hell world is going to gut them alive if they don't have those skill sets.
Well, it's what's interesting about the free market, and I think that this is going to be the test for that. I think this is really going to be an interesting test in the history of this country as things open up and seeing if it's even possible to succeed with.
Because like really quick, we're putting our COVID-19. They're putting COVID-19. Like I have something to do. I have nothing to do where we put our COVID-19 test, but they're putting COVID-19 tests out there now for asymptomatic. They put them out there even if you don't have insurance, you can go get it. And we're putting them in places in which the less fortunate are, right? There are people that generally are not going to get that kind of medical care. There's not facilities near them and things of that. They're pop-up sites, and that's been super successful. And it's also, I will point this out though. Now that we're testing, I don't know what you guys are doing in your states, but now that we're doing asymptomatic testing, it's going to drive that death rate down immensely.
Yeah.
Immensely, it's going to drive that down.
I think that's the key. But
and again, is the weirdest part, Glenn, is like we can go get it again like 5 days later. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
I don't think that's proven
just
yet,
because
right?
we're negative now.
I don't think that's proven because I think the test cases they were looking at where they tested negative and then positive again, they feel like a lot of those guys might have still had it and it just reactivated. Not that they got it.
I'll give you an example. I can't say where, but we have a nursing place where the staff, not here in Longwood, by the way, but here in Florida, where to my understanding, unless I'm wrong, they had to get 2 negatives after tested. The staff got positive tested. They went through their 14 days of quarantine. They had to take the test again. They had to score 2 negatives in order to go back, and they were not able to go back.
Yeah, because I think that there's a lot of false and negatives on the testing right now. They're saying that
Yes.
there's like only
Yes. That's very
50%.
true. Yes.
But,
That's very true.
to
Raj.
your point, Matt, I think this is the gateway, and I think this is a good thing. Is that I think that with this free testing and the free care they're talking about for people with COVID-19, I think this is really going to change people's perception of healthcare, and I think this is the domino falling to having a national healthcare system and ensuring healthcare is a right for all Americans. Because we're seeing that if we can't take care of people, we are all vulnerable. Like you said, Matt, like somebody gets it and they can give it to other people. I'm not saying it's going to be mandatory, but I do think that will be perhaps one positive that happens to society out of this, because it's shifting the way people see these things and their access to healthcare. But we'll see. It's really tough. And we certainly didn't mean to get all political about this tonight or dive into it. But I think that, look, right now I'm going to just say this, though. Seeing these stories, and I know some people want to laugh or smirk at it, but if you're going to go out and protest social distancing or things not being open, like, by all means, still take some basic precautions, because you're seeing these stories about people that lead these protests that are coming down with it. And look, nobody wants anyone to die or suffer from this, and especially doesn't want them to pass it on to other people. So I think that, I know we're all cooped up. I think I told you guys the other, last week, I had the idea one day where I was like, you know what, I'm just sick of this. If I get it, I get it. I need to just leave this freaking house and go out there.
Yes.
It's so easy to be at that point, but we have to let cooler heads prevail and remember that we are all in this together.
Getting a lot of emails about this, just so you know. This is going back to wrestling.
Oh, come on. We're going to just reboot Crossfire. It's just going to be me and Matt.
So Dutch Mantell, he tweeted out that he heard directly out of WWE Stanford that a deal is being negotiated to sell WWE and the network to ESPN and Fox by as early as mid-May. I think he's got that mixed up. No. There was talk of selling the network and moving the network, but not WWE. And I can't see any network, any company buying a company like WWE right now during this pandemic with money being so tight. So I'm getting a lot of tweets about it. I wouldn't
How
take
would that
anything.
even work? So Stephanie McMahon wouldn't have anything to do with the company anymore? Vince would have nothing to do with it? Yeah, right.
Well, it would probably be like the UFC, where they'd probably, retain somebody, obviously a lot of the talent once the UFC was sold to Endeavor. But yes, I don't believe it.
Only way I'd see that is if Stephanie just doesn't want to do it anymore. That is the only way I could see that, and that would crush Vince, by the way.
Well, Vince has said he's open to selling it, but again, the timing right now. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, a terrible time.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't put too much into that.
Okay, do we got anything else, Raj? Getting all riled up here.
Gerald Briscoe was among the people released. Oh. Gerald Briscoe had been with the company forever. So he was let go. And
are you kidding me? Was this recent?
Yeah, this was just
recent?
With Briscoe? All the releases and everything. Yeah, Gerald Briscoe is one of them. And so, he's been with the company a long time. He's one of the Stooges. A lot of fans remember him in that way from the Attitude Era. Did a lot of scouting and recruiting.
Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. This is what it comes down to. It's like, Matt, I agree with your point about pulling yourself by your bootstraps and working harder, but it's like WWE, at a time they were having record profits, you're cutting people that have been with the company forever, that have been so loyal to you, that have done so much for the company, and just to save a couple bucks, you're trimming them off payroll while you're pulling in these record profits and justifying. It's strange.
While we're on that, could you imagine what it would look like if they were not able to do taping and they were not able to go to work? Because that's what I'm witnessing with a lot of these small business owners. I'm watching it, and it's the saddest thing. I cry once a day at least. It sucks to watch.
I feel like I've bought so many gift cards for restaurants. I mean, we're paying even our pet groomers right now to just come and not, because we want to make sure they stay in business.
That's cool.
I think that's the thing. I think if people are doing what they can, but and that's what I worry about, Matt. So when I talk about that, it's like, it's not me being a naysayer predicting, but I'm just like, man, you could tell me it's open tomorrow, I'm not going to be first in line to go to my favorite restaurant. We're going to have to see.
And that's a beautiful thing. And that's the beautiful thing about all this. That's why you want to be able to do it when it does open, the phases, right?
Yeah.
No barbershops, no tattoo parlors, haircut places, even though I know my wife is dying to go to a place like that right now. But seriously, you come back and you trickle into it slowly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we'll
then,
see.
and then you have the ultimate call, more importantly. Every one of us. You
Yeah.
don't want to go to these places, then you don't, because you don't want to take that risk if you think it's a risk.
Yeah. I think that's
I
going to be
don't
the most
know. I don't
interesting
know.
part. No, I mean, there's no simple
It's
answer.
an easy, yeah. Like no one knows where.
And certainly,
it's
let
all
me tell you,
improv right
yeah.
now.
And if we've solved these world's
Yes.
problems and our country's problems on the wrestling podcast, that'd be incredible. But we're not going to do it. I've got a pretty good ego.
I'll put our no bullshit. I'll put that conversation against a lot of those out there on political podcasts, what we just talked about, quite frankly. Because you're on one side. We know I'm obviously on the other, without getting into the weeds on this, folks. I think you guys could tell this by now, our fans. But we do so with respect for one another the entire time. So I always appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, most cable politics, that's the pro wrestling of it all. It's really kind of insane how much that's devolved, which is unfortunate. Raj, I was gonna say, Raj, we were talking about this, I think not when you were on, but when WWE comes back and does live events, they need to make sure that first live event is as full as it can be with it being safe. Because if they open a live event and can't sell tickets for it, like they're screwed. Like their live event business is done for.
Well, I would think that you would have to have some social distancing at the first, these first arena shows when you come back. So you have them. So maybe you got an arena of 10,000 people, but you sell 25% of those tickets so you can space people out. So you got 2,500 people, space them out, and then slowly do that. And again, keep paying attention to the data, the numbers, and then you could start the less distancing. I don't know.
It'll be weird.
Yeah.
I think drive-in movies are going to make a comeback as a result of all this because we just need.
I don't even have a place. We don't even have a place in the city to do something like that. I was thinking about that just this morning, ironically, Glenn. How cool would it be to put something like that up? But we don't have the space to do something like that here.
You don't have an empty lot somewhere you could just put up a drive-in?
Not that big. Not that big.
Yeah.
Not to bring in like how.
You could go to like the woods and get your iPad and do it that way.
You need distance, Raj. I haven't been to a drive-in movie probably in 30. I think The Karate Kid Part 2 and Space Camp were the last movies I saw at a drive-in.
Yeah,
it was a double feature.
They were awesome. We had one up until the 90s out here in Colorado, in Denver, and now it's a bunch of condos. So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, man. Well, it's good hanging out with you guys. I gotta go wipe down my groceries with bleach wipes because I just got a grocery delivery. So I think we should wrap this up. And that's the reality we're living in.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Until next time, I'm Glenn Rubenstein. He's Matt Morgan. He's Raj Giri. And we'll see you back here Wednesday with Justin LaBar on the Wrestling